is good, good people? You are now listening to another episode of Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. I am your humble narrator, Danny Foxworth, and once again, we're joined by an extremely special guest. I had the pleasure of being introduced to this brother through the good Twitter streets. I mean, you see him on here, and he's always posting, like, he's just like the most interesting dude in the world. From the BX, currently residing in Alaska, and we're going to get into a whole bunch of stuff today. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got my dog, Captain Naut, in the building. Captain, what's good, bro?
What's going on, man? What's going on, Danny?
TGIF,
Thank you for having me on, man. TGIF, Jive Turkeys.
Yo, the BX, man. So talk about what it was like growing in the BX for a young captain.
Man, BX, shout out Kingsbridge, man. Born and raised, whole family's around there, man. It's, I mean, for lack of a better word, it's home. It always will be, man. You know, running around, I'm an only child, but I grew up with cousins in the house like brothers. So shout out Ayeni, shout out Punky, what up, love y'all. And yeah, man, we was just out here causing chaos and trying not to get in too much trouble at home with our parents, you know what I mean? So
how did you end up in Alaska?
Man, I like to say I made 5 left-hand turns and got lost, but for real, like, it's one of those things that just kind of happened. Like my older brother that we were talking about, Ayeni, he started coming up here seasonally. He was connected to the diamond business through his gig, and got an opportunity to go work seasonally up in Alaska, catering to the cruise ship industry, right? So he did that for a few years and made some bank, and learned the ins and outs of the business. And for those who don't know, there's a large contingent of people who follow those cruise ships to make money, because people on vacation want to spend money, have a good time, right? So, you know, purses are a little looser, so are the lips. Everybody's talking crap and, you know, spending money. So it's a great place to be in jewelry. So, so he did that for a while, and I came up, and he's like, man, this is a great way to stack some dough. Come home at the end of the season with cash in your pocket, man, because they take care of your flights and apartments and all of that. So really, all you got to do is pay for your entertainment, and depending on what you choose to get into, you can stack up quite a bit. So he put me onto that. So by the time I got into it, my family was already a little more accepting of a brother in Alaska making money. So, because at first everybody was like, what do you mean you're selling jewelry in Alaska? Like, you know, it didn't compute to a lot of us. So over the years that he did it, it made a lot more sense, and the family was like, oh, okay, yeah. He goes up seasonally, comes back 5 months later with a little bit of cash, has some fun, and does it again.
Okay.
And so yeah, that's kind of how I got up there.
From the Bronx to Alaska.
The biggest adjustment, man. That's interesting, because the reason why I say that's interesting is because those who are familiar with Alaska know this statement, that Alaska might as well be its own different country from the rest of the lower 48. Everything is different, from shipping to logistics, how you go about going to work, school, how you sleep, all of that. Like, it's so completely different than what most down in the lower 48 experience. Down to the air quality, down to the water quality, space. Even in Anchorage, the largest city, there's expansive room for you to get out and move and see different things. And in a very short distance, you can go 10 minutes from downtown and fish one of the world's best salmon spots. You know what I mean? So it's real different, man. Like, it's something I recommend everybody take if they ever get the chance. Man, like, it's just one of those things. So again, I'm a city boy through and through. When I first got up here, like, I was looking at these people crazy. Like, fishing, okay, yeah, that's cool and all, but that's boring. I'm not trying to waste my time doing it. But over the years of me being here, you know, just seeing more and more of it and coming to understand just how world class some of this fishing is, that how much people spend to come up here and fish. I'm like, you know what? You know, future Kyle is going to hate younger Kyle for not getting into this world class fishing. So I just kind of started throwing lines, had no clue what I was doing. And then I caught my first coho salmon, which is one of the more acrobatic fish, one of the more acrobatic salmon. I caught that for my first fish. And that fight was insane. The fish was jumping in the air, flipping, and I damn near lost it, but brought it in, and I was hooked ever since, man. So that's really how it happened. It happened about 2 years before COVID, so I started fishing in like 2018. And then by the time COVID really happened, it was interesting. So there were no cruise ships coming up in that summer of 2020. So I had all of the fishing area to myself, no tourists to contend with, nothing. So I spent that year just fishing hard because there was really nothing else to do. Most places elsewhere were a bit locked down, to my understanding, restaurants being closed and things like that. Same thing too, but we had world class outside. Everybody can get in their cars or on their boats and just go and be in your little bubble somewhere else. But yeah, so that's kind of how I got into fishing, and that summer of 2020 really solidified my joy and love and contentment of it. It was my escape from everything, all of the chaos. You put on those waders and you get into the water and you can feel that coolness. Like once you feel that water on your skin and against your skin, you just lose everything else.
Hey,
you
man,
just worry
everybody's
about
got to
how
have
your
that
body
escape.
feels in the water. Yeah. Absolutely, man. Absolutely, man. And it's a
That's
great way
true.
for it. There are a lot worse things people could be doing for that escape. So, just having something that's natural and
Yo,
organic
so
and fluid.
when did you like
It's
when
dope.
you prepare your fish after you catch it? When did it get to the point where you're like, okay, I got this fish preparation and cooking down pat?
Man, there's always something new to learn, right? And everybody fillets their fish a little differently, right? And my lady Jamie, love her.
Okay,
She's the chef. She be chefing up, man. So she's the master cutlery, and I've been learning behind her all of her little tips and tricks, because she watches the YouTubes incessantly and talks to
okay,
everybody on the
I
docks
like
about
it.
how to cut the fish. I'm over here trying to catch them. But shout out to her. She's a great fisherwoman too. Most days she outfishes me. She has the family record
Really?
of, I believe, like a 40-pound king.
Wow, wow.
Yeah,
And I
she's
saw
got the
you just
family
recently
record so
caught
far.
what a 37-pound salmon.
Yeah, yeah. It was a 36 incher and it was rough. I didn't take a weight on it, but the rule of thumb is like for every inch you got like a pound, right? So that's the ballpark we were looking at. But yeah, that was a
Nice.
good king and one of my
So
larger kings.
also, like we spoke about in pre-production, it was a tweet of yours that I caught that really fascinated me, and I was like, man, I got to get this dude on the pod. And this lady sent a tweet that said, "What are you nerdy about?" And then you quote tweeted it with a bunch of different subjects that you're nerdy about. So I want to delve into those subjects as well. Fishing aside, music production. So what was it about music
Yeah,
production that
absolutely.
really turned the gears for you?
Yeah, man. And it goes back to the Bronx. Born and raised, my uncles and my cousins from back in the day always talked about the parties they were going to. Again, I'm from Sedgwick and Kingsbridge. Sedgwick Avenue
Yep.
is the birthplace and the mecca of this thing we call hip hop. So I'm like 3 doors down from that area. A lot of the family was running around doing that type of stuff back in the day. My uncles were telling stories about how they would hot wire street lamps to power their boom boxes because nobody had D batteries. You know what I mean? And all of that just so they can keep hanging out outside on the block and all of that. So just music has always been just heavy in my life. My aunt is an amazing, talented singer in the church, and she's been doing that my entire life as well. So music has just always been around. And being in the Bronx, listening to a bunch of hip hop. So, got into production and not really making my own music, but being a student and a nerd of the ones and twos and of sampling and sample knowledge, like, just the huge database of our history's music. You know what I mean? From genre to genre, it doesn't matter. Like the stuff that we touch and the stuff that we inspire is everywhere. And taking that inspiration to inspire something else, that's the next level stuff in my opinion. You feel me? So that's where the music production nerdiness comes in. Again, I'm not talented enough to make some samples and some chops myself, but I do enjoy listening to and sharing.
So,
The
matter of
dopeness that I'm
speaking of
listening to.
music, what was your first musical memory?
My first musical memory. Whew, wow, that goes back. There's a cassette tape. For those who don't know, cassettes were how we listened to music back in the day. You put it was plastic with a little bit of film on it, and you would record sound over it. That's what that is. So, cassette player, my father had a little recorder on him. And I remember him playing his music in the house. My family had a dope stereo tower, that everybody had back in the day. Um, and he was playing, I don't remember what he was playing, but we made a recording of it, and then I started singing my ABCs over the music playing in the background. I'm like, A, B, C, D, E,
Really?
F, G. And my mother still has that tape. When she plays it, I remember it.
Okay.
Yeah, she still has the tape. It's up in her safety deposit box. But yeah, when she plays the tape, I can remember it, but otherwise I don't. But yeah, that's one of my first musical memories, going back and listening to that and be like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because it was almost on beat. I'm like, hey, bass, hey, bass.
Dig it.
But that's my first musical memory, man.
Dig
Shout
it.
out mama,
And
shout out
another
pops.
one of your subjects that you say
Yeah,
that
man.
you're nerdy about is geography and topography. So, how did you get bitten by that bug?
Man, one of my teachers back in school, seventh grade, Mr. G, he was my social studies teacher. Shout out to him. And he just made it seem so interesting, like especially geography and just how, you know, like just how physical elements affect everything around us in regards to how humans operate, how they move through the space, how they navigate the space, find places of their own to cultivate and grow and support their families and their communities. Like it ties into so much of what we do. And as a whole, as a species, our topography, the geology and geography of where we live, all of that affects how we live for the most part. And I find that extremely interesting. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm kind of a nerd about geography myself, and it was almost around that same time period. Well, that in I was in eighth grade, and it was in I want to say it was social studies class, and every Wednesday they would
True.
have a program that they would show on the TV called South Carolina Geography, and much like you, I nerded out about that too, just knowing that the world was so much bigger than Moncks Corner, South Carolina, just like state wise. And I was like, man, I didn't know they had mountains in South Carolina. Like I didn't know they had this in South Carolina, man. And and
Yeah.
one of my goals, like as I got older, was to
Yeah.
visit some of these places, and I was like, wow, just seeing it with my own eyes. Being up in the mountains, going up there in the fall and the winter time, and then spoiled because I'm close to the beach, so that's nothing. But just like going to other nooks and crannies of the state that I just never heard of, and I was like, man, that looks like a place that's interesting. I'm gonna try that out. So yeah, I'm kind of a geography nerd myself.
Awesome, man. Yeah, yeah. Like I find it really interesting. Like, so for example, one of the things that I remember that really hooked me back in the day was discovering that the bedrock of Manhattan supports those skyscrapers and structures, of that weight and size only in that midtown downtown corridor, and then the bedrock goes
Really?
back down a lot deeper. Learning that, and I was just like, what? Completely blew my, yeah,
Wow.
something to that effect. Yeah, something about how the bedrock rises a lot higher on the Manhattan Island at that point to allow for the structures to be really anchored into the bedrock and supported so they can go up pretty damn vertical. Again, don't quote me. Don't quote me, but that's basically what I recall, and that like blew my mind. So
Wow, I
yeah, that
never
was
knew
one of the
that.
genesises of that.
Man.
Yeah, man. Yeah, again, don't quote me on it, but
Okay, and then you said also sociology to a smaller
yeah.
extent is one of the things that you're nerdy about. So talk about that. What is it about sociology that really drew you in?
Just the study of people and why we're motivated to do what we do, right? Again, I didn't go to school for any of this. This is all hobbyist reading and doom scrolling, and I try to absorb as much information that I find interesting to me, and just the idea of you know music. Why do we as humans enjoy music? What is it about it that for as long as there's been humans, that there's been evidence and suggestions that we've had music via drums or woodwind instruments and things along those lines. Like, what motivates us as a species to seek out rhythmic sounds? I think that really what drew me in. That
Mm-hmm.
I guess intersection of music and people and history, because I guess I'm kind of a buff of that as well. But yeah, man, I try to absorb as much information that I deem interesting to myself as possible. Whether or not it's useful to me or anybody else is a different conversation. But I do
So
consider
what was
myself
one
king of
of
random
your
useless
biggest
information.
discoveries in this study of sociology?
Just I was kind of speaking to that, I guess, in my first example, that there's been evidence to support that we've been making music and art and expressing ourselves, which is one of the largest distinguishing factors between us and elephants or whales or whatnot, other mammalians and apes to a lesser extent, or to a greater extent. But yeah, like, just that music is dang near universal to us as a species. It goes back to the very beginning. And that is probably one of my biggest inspirational takeaways from that. Like,
Right
this
on.
is this is that what
Going
we
back
do.
to fish for a second, what's your favorite fish to
Yeah.
eat?
My favorite fish to eat is a toss
Oh,
up
I
between
love red
halibut
snapper.
and red snapper.
Love red snapper.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. But halibut is right up there for me, man. Like, I know they say tuna is the chicken of the sea,
Yeah,
but it
I've
really is
I've never had
halibut. Like, I
halibut. So
love
what
halibut.
is describe the taste of it?
Describe the taste. It's much more mild, more delicate, not super fishy like, say, a salmon, but
Okay,
still enough ocean to say, yeah, this is fishy. Tender, juicy.
okay.
Yeah, yeah, just halibut is the way to go. Halibut Olympia
So
is one of my favorite ways to eat it.
I was about to say, what's your favorite way to prepare halibut?
Listen, halibut deep fried, fish and chips. Halibut fish and chips is, that's what we do here on a very regular basis. Any fish, any halibut that comes into our door, for the most part, is going to end up fried. But we do eat halibut Olympia as well, and 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 some of it, believe it or not, goes to Jet the dog. So
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 what's
he
a
eats really
halibut
good over here as
Olympia?
well. Yeah, yeah. Halibut Olympia. I'm horrible at
It's all
describing
good.
food flavors, by the way. So thank you for putting me on the spot, Danny. But yeah, man, halibut Olympia is more of a creamy dish, prepared with cheese and cream and dill spice as well. And yeah, man, so it's real good. Get on the Googles, do your
Man, that
Googles.
sounds good.
Do your Googles,
So
okay? Yeah,
no, you
man,
go ahead.
it's pretty damn good. And yeah, go ahead. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying that, and also one of our favorite ways to eat salmon would be smoked salmon. We got two going on three smokers, just to kind of keep us moving when we're preparing our fish. So we got a little bit more work to do before the freeze, and thankfully some more fish to catch. So we don't want to do too many smoking days. So it's a fine balance between,
Yeah.
do we smoke them now or do we just keep fishing and see what happens? Yeah, so we'll kind of see what happens. But smoked salmon, and is one of our favorite ways to eat it, as well as
Man,
steak.
and I
Salmon
remember my
steaks can't go
mom, the
wrong.
first time I
Filet
had
can't go wrong.
smoked salmon that my mom prepared on the smoker, I was like, "Oh my God, what is this? This is incredible." I don't think I ever want to try salmon in another way.
Man, listen, bro, I'm telling you, it's amazing, especially you get some good candy on
Yes.
it, man. After that good candy smoke on it, oh God, ooh wee. Yes, sir. But and up here, it's different animal, man. These guys got smoking tents, made of alder, cedar, and they're just smoking
Wow.
hundreds of pounds of fish at a time. Like, some of these people do not play about their smoked salmon. So it gets real out here. Potluck season, which is what we call our winter. It's potluck season because there ain't too much else to do outside of having potlucks with your neighbors and homies. So yeah, you got a lot
So
of
they
smoked
actually
salmon
smoke them
for
in
for the
tents?
potluck. You dig? Yeah, they'll make tents and sheds to smoke their salmon. I know folks who have cedar smokehouses, and they stack their salmon up on trays that are, taller than you, and you rack them all out and
Wow.
spend a day or
Man,
two
yeah,
smoking
I
them.
got to look into
Yeah.
this. Matter of fact, I need to go to Alaska.
Yo, man, like I said earlier, I recommend it, man.
Okay.
If you ever get the
That's a bet.
opportunity, take it and let me know.
Speaking
We'll
of
go fishing.
Alaska, speaking of Alaska, what's the what was that adjustment
Absolutely.
like with the longer days or the longer hours of daylight?
Oh man. Yeah, man. So I think you just brushed it. That's one of the hardest parts about being here for me personally, with the darkness, and the rain. So I live in Southeast Alaska. It's the Tongass rainforest. It is the northernmost rainforest in the world. Most people think of rainforest as, tropical, Amazonian, real hot and lots of rain. Well, it's colder here, but still quite a lot of rain. So the rain gets to you where you go 3, 4 weeks without seeing the sun. That gets to you. So that was my biggest adjustment. And most people say that first winter teaches you if you're going to be able to live in Alaska or not. It's always the first winter. The summertime is always fun. It's always it's always games. You're having a great time. Wintertime will tell you if you love Alaska or not. And for me, Alaska is it. I kind of fell in love with it. It was difficult for sure, but it was something so brand new and different than what I was used to. My apartment building had like 1,000, 1,500 people in it, and This area only has 30,000 people in the entire city. So, so having that space was enjoyable. I was digging it. So I was like, oh, okay, this is what it's like to breathe fresh air, have a little bit of room, see some trees that's not
So
surrounded by metal frames.
how long did it take you
You
to
know what I
adjust
mean?
to Alaska?
So yeah, so
Okay.
I would say I'm
Wow.
still adjusting. I've been here 15 years, and I would say I'm still adjusting. Yeah, I came up as a youth. I was in my early 20s when I came up, and I don't want to say how old I am now, but I'm not 20 something anymore. And so been here for a little while, and I still catch myself saying that I'm still adjusting. Just like the other day, I was just commenting to my wife. I was just like, I really got to remember to wave at people because my neighbors will just wave at you every time you pass by. Even if you just pass by them, they'll wave again at you. I
Right.
don't do that because New Yorkers, you kind of go about your business. You mind your business and you go about your business. We're misunderstood creatures in that regard. We're not mean. We're not disrespectful. We're just busy with what we got to do, and
Hey,
we're
I
not worried
respect
about
it.
you and what you got to do. But yeah, man. Absolutely, absolutely. But yeah, that was one of the biggest adjustments was, getting used to that more friendly rural mindset where the neighbors know each other and look out for each other and, look out, make sure your neighbor's dog don't run away down the block and that type of thing. So while there were some adjustments, it's like I said, it's
Love
been
it. Love it.
enjoyable enough
So
for
how
me to
did you
be
meet
here
your wife?
15 years. Yeah, yeah. We met on Twitter.
Really? Okay.
Yep. We met on Twitter, man. We were just talking about sports. Yeah, we were just talking about sports, and then one day she's one of those accounts who never really posted her picture, right? So we'd be just chatting, shooting shit all day, having a good time. And then one day she just posted a picture. I was like, oh, I didn't realize you were that goddamn fine. Because again, I didn't see a picture she had posted before that point. So I was just shooting the shit, talking about, sports. We talk about the Giants, we talk about Arizona, because that's her team, So yeah, so we just be shooting the crap. And I was just, oh, goddamn, girl, you fine. I'm going to be in Arizona soon.
Man.
What's up? So yeah, we met on Twitter. I sent her a picture of my hairline, which is no longer existent. Yeah, man. I got her at the right time. Got her at the right time. I sent the picture of my
Yeah.
hairline. I was like, this is me and my hairline. This is what I
Love
got
it or
for
leave
you.
me alone.
Absolutely. You know what I mean? This is what you got.
Man,
What
that's
you
so
thinking?
dope.
And here we are. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. I wasn't expecting it either. I was not expecting it, but when a
Man,
blessing
amen to
comes your
that.
way, you thank God
No
and you
pun
run with it.
intended.
You feel me?
Oh man, so now we're going to get into the 5 question segment. So the first and last question are the same questions I ask every guest I have on here. Questions 2 through 4,
Oh,
100% random. So question number 1, what were Kyle's go-to school lunch items?
go to school lunch items, man. Ooh, gushers, absolutely. Ooh, what else? What else? What else? Red Gatorade. I love Gatorade, and I thought I was going to the league back in the day. So all I wanted to drink was Gatorade. Um, Ham and cheese, smoked ham. Yeah, smoked ham and cheese. Gatorade, Gushers, and a banana for the potassium of the cramping.
That's a
That
complete
was
meal
my
right
go-to
there.
lunch. Yeah,
Question
absolutely,
number
man.
2, what's the first rap album you bought with your own money?
First rap album I bought with my own money. Where is it? Where is it? Black on Both Sides.
No lie, that is my
Black on
favorite
Both
rap
Sides,
album
Most
ever.
Def, 1999. Listen,
Yes.
it's canon. It's canon. It's biblical. If if you fucks with this thing called hip hop and you are not a fan of Black on Both Sides, or if you haven't heard Black on Both Sides, Captain Naut says go listen to it right now.
He put the Jive Turkey at the end, so
Go
you
listen
know
to
what
it
he's
right
saying
after this.
is
I'm
100%
serious.
official.
It's that
And
good.
I could not agree more. Black on Both Sides by Mos Def is my favorite rap album of all time. So what's your favorite track on Black on Both Sides?
Absolutely, it's canon. Ooh,
Yes.
New World Water, Mathematics, obviously. Yeah, those are the two off top. Obviously, Miss Fat Booty. Yeah, those are my top three right there. Oh, obviously Umise. Umise, I can't work
play
out
that
without it.
record
I do cardio to Umise.
Yep. For you,
Tomorrow
and
may
me,
never
life is not
come.
promised.
For you and me,
I play that
life
every
is
morning when I
not
wake up.
promised.
Oh man. Question
Exactly.
question number 3. Who was your favorite high school teacher?
Absolutely, my guy. My favorite high school teacher. Brother Kyogen. Brother Kyogen. So I went to a Catholic high school. What up, Hayes? And we had a dean of discipline. And his job was just to walk around and keep people in check. And one of the rules that the school had were no sideburns below your earlobes. So he would walk around with a ruler and then just randomly throw it up against somebody's neck to measure if it's below your earlobe. And if it was, he would be like 3 days and a Saturday detention. He would just walk around and just throw it out there. But what I didn't realize is, like, a lot of these cats, some of the cats that I grew up with, didn't really have much structure. You know what I mean? I was blessed to come from a home that gave me a lot of love and structure and discipline, even when I didn't want it. Obviously, I was needed. But, some cats don't grow up with that. And, he was trying to, be like, hey, man, there's a standard that you need to hold out here in this world, going forward as a black man especially. You know what I mean? You got to be able to do your P's and Q's. And if there's something that you need to do, you do that. And, and that's something I didn't realize till much older. So shout out Brother Kyogen. And, and Father Robert Harrison. Father Robert Harrison was my, was it sophomore or senior year? One of those two. He was my philosophy and theology teacher. And that man cussed like a sailor. that man of the cloth cussed like a sailor, man. But he was real and interesting.
That's a
and I
duality
believe he's
right there,
passed
man.
on
Your
through
dean was
wisdom,
running.
so
He was
God
running the
rest his
ship like George Steinbrenner with the sideburn regulations.
You know what I mean? Like, for real. Yeah, exactly. New York Yankee rule, like clean cut, straight through
Question
and through.
number 4.
Yeah, man.
What's one
He wasn't
restaurant
playing.
that you could bring from the Bronx to Alaska?
Ooh. That's rough. One restaurant that I would bring with me from the Bronx, Caridad. Caridad. It is a Spanish Dominican food spot. They got a chain running through the Bronx and Harlem, I believe, nowadays. But yeah, Caridad. My New Yorkers know about that. What up?
What dish would you
Absolutely,
recommend
Caridad.
from there?
Everything. But the arroz con pollo, everything. Literally everything. The mofongo, everything, man. Like,
My bad.
you're going to
man.
make me homesick right now, obviously.
Then, last question. What was the last thing that really made you laugh?
Yeah, man. The last thing that really made me laugh.
Oh,
This Club Shay Shay incident yesterday or the day before, whatever that was. That's my Michelle. Oh my God, I've been weeping. I've been weeping. Like you a grown man, dog.
Yeah.
We love you, dog.
Bro.
But don't do that again. I was weeping, man. It was hysterical to me. So yeah, that was the last thing that I think I really laughed at was That's My Michelle. I was cracking up. I was done for.
Swear.
I guess, yeah, man. Yeah. I mean, hey, do what you got to do. Cash that check, brother. I ain't mad at you, but don't do that again.
That 9/11 will go down in history.
Just,
yeah,
you feel me, for a whole different reason, man.
You go from Frankie Beverly to Shannon Sharp to Kendrick.
Yeah, man.
All in the same day.
And
I'm like, bro, this is too much.
All in the same day, man. Bro, man, I definitely put on some music for him, brother. It was sad to see him go, but once you get up to that age, I believe, I like to say it's a blessing. It's sad to see him go, but a full life lived, man, is the goal, right? Yep. So rest in peace, Frankie. I know my mama's playing you right now, too.
So anything you want to plug or promote, the floor is yours.
Plug or promote, man. Nah, just hop on Twitter. Give me a follow, dog. Hop along. Talk some smack with me. Learn about some fish and what goes on up here in the northern states, man. Life is real different up here, and it's interesting. And I highly recommend y'all look into it and come check it out if you ever get the opportunity. I have a radio show that I play on Friday nights here locally. I can give you the link to share. KXL 100.7, excellent radio. Juneau's the capital city radio station. What is it? It's public radio because, that's how it is. You gotta, support locals, and you gotta, the local flavor and local news and local people talking to you and to each other is an amazing thing. Technology is only increased our ability to connect across, really far and extended places, like this podcast and others like it. So, yeah, check that out. KXL 100.7, Friday nights, Departure Lounge Radio, Jive Turkeys. Play a whole bunch of stuff.
So where can the people find you on Twitter?
Yeah. On Twitter, you can find me at Captain Naut, CaptNaut, Captain Naut, that me.
Right.
Give me a follow.
And you always going to get that morning greeting with Good Morning Jive Turkeys, man. It's like my day don't go right. My day won't go right until I see that tweet coming down my timeline. Good Morning Jive Turkeys. Straight up.
My day don't start going right until I tweet that out, because I gotta call somebody a job turkey. And shout out to my mama, she started that for me. Because obviously, that's old stuff, right? But she's just like, that's one word that I wish came back, because she's like, I just wish that you could just call somebody a job turkey and be done with it. And I'm like, well, nobody said that you couldn't, Ma. So then, like, from that point on, I made it a point in my life to just call people job turkeys. Like, yo, just to remind people that there's some job in you,
going on.
I see it.
That might be the name of this episode.
Absolutely.
Job detective going off.
Oh, yeah? I'm with it. I'm with it. My job detective going off, man. Listen, I see the job in you, job turkey, and it's all right. I accept you, and I appreciate you as you are. You're enough as you are, but you are still a job turkey. You feel me? Accept and live in your job.
Being a guest on here, man. This was a blast. Seriously.
Bro, thank you, man. Again, thank you for having me. I had a blast here with you today, man, and I'm gonna be cutting it up with you on the timeline anyway.
Yes, sir.
So,
and thank y'all for listening.
Brother.
Make sure you like, download, and subscribe to Since We Last Spoke with Danny Foxworth. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can find me at Danny Foxworth 843. There, you can find all the videos for all the episodes for this podcast, as well as my baseball podcast, At the Plate with Danny Foxworth, and my other podcast that just recently came out, Growing Up Low Country with Liz and Danny. and my new podcast about candles entitled A Wicked Good Time, which will be in your ear holes and your eyes next week. So, another one. So for Captain Naut and myself, this has been another episode of Since We Last Spoken with Danny Foxworth. And until next time, y'all be good. Peace.
Peace.